Hi everybody, Peter, Justin, and Matt here from Instinct Defense Academy. Thanks for watching.
On today's video, I read this great article by Glen Lyman from Blade magazine, and he wrote an article on how criminals use knives. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and then we can review like the number one most popular attack. So first of all, 90% of people are right-handed, so there's a 90% chance that it's going to be a right-handed attack. We'll start with the fifth most common. It is a backhand slash. So going right over here, just your backhand slash. That came in at 2%, a whopping 2%. Fourth place was the downward diagonal slash, this one. So that's backhand here, forehand slash. I thought this would be more popular, but it only came in at 10%. Third was the ice pick grip. You got a reverse grip, and then you're just doing this, boom, at 24%. Second most popular at 25%, which was a straight right hand thrust or stab into the gut area. In first place, what we have is an augmented right hand stab. So you grab with the left hand to kind of off balance or control, and then you stab. Boom. So that's the most common attack, and that came in at 40%, which is not far different than, by the time you add in this, there's this, they're almost identical. Just one has this, added component with the control of the left hand grab. Really, if you add first and second together, you're up to 64%. That teaches us that there's something that we could do to train and focus on that type of attack as being a primary attack that you might encounter. So with that in mind, now that we know what the attack is that we're going to work on, we want to look at it from two different perspectives: a self-defense perspective, and then we also want to look at it from more of a warrior's mindset. From the self-defense perspective, I love Bruce Lee's quote:
"There's only one basic principle of self-defense. You must apply the most effective weapon as soon as possible to the most vulnerable target."
In conjunction with that, Rory Miller, he talks about this golden move. And the golden move is being able to make one movement where you are able to create an injury to the attacker, improve your position, and the attacker's position becomes more compromised. If you can do that in one move, that's ideal. So we're going to try and explore that concept, and then we're going to look into what a more of a warrior mindset would look like. And we got a quote from Hatsumi regarding warriors.
"A true warrior isn't cruel or mean. He has the power to be compassionate, and this is the evidence of the mental preparation needed of the warrior." Obviously,
with the warrior, we want to have that ability to control the attacker without having to create injury, and so that requires a higher level of expertise. So we want to kind of explore that, and we're also going to pressure test things, right? What we like to do for pressure testing is we like to see if this technique holds up against a knife. In this case, we're already using a knife, so that's phase one is already accomplished. And phase two is, can you do the same thing when there's multiple attacker? Justin's going to be our attacker number one with the knife, and Matt, you can put this down and you'll be our second attacker. Justin's going to quickly demonstrate what this attack looks like. I'm not going to move, I'm just going to let him execute the attack. Good. This is also a really good part of training, to actually let your training partner execute the attack how he would normally without you doing a technique, so you can get a feel for what that looks like and what that feels like. So this first perspective, we're going to look at that idea of the golden move. So as he comes in, I'm going to kind of dissect this really slowly, and he grabs and he has control. I can use this to my advantage because we're connected with each other with this grab. So as that comes in, I'm going to go offline and slap him on the side of the ear, and we'll test that. Does that improve my position? Did I create an injury? And does it worsen your position? Bam! I'm in a much superior position. From here, I can easily come in here and attack here to finish things really quickly from a self-defense perspective. And what was your kind of feel of this basic move?
As soon as you had made that attack to the back of my head, immediately made me forget about almost everything. Even though it wasn't very hard, it did have a lot of follow through behind it.
Cool. All right, so we'll just kind of do that one more time. Bam! Right in here. And here he's not quite, he's in a little bit of a different position. So here I would naturally want to come in here and attack that side instead. So wherever he ends up, both cases would qualify this for being a golden move. Now we're going to kind of pressure test this with a secondary attacker. You can either be on this side or that side, or he comes in, bam, bam. And because I'm still moving, I'm able to see him coming, and I just take some distance at that point. Another approach would be, this comes in, I immediately drop in and strike down on this nerve bundle right in here. And from there, have I created a better position for myself. I can easily come in here, and then finish that way. So same thing, maybe we can pressure test this, see if this works. If you come in, bam, bam, and I'm moving, I'm taking distance. If I had my knife or my gun, I can use it. We're not really using the gun as part of the scenario, but okay. Now we want to kind of explore this from a warrior's mindset and look at, can I do the same type of control without being in danger and be able to not be forced to create an injury. As I was preparing this video, the thoughts I had when thinking about this from the perspective of if there is it's a multiple attacker situation, I want to be able to have the ability to go to the inside of the attack, go to the outside of the attack, based on where that second attacker might be coming from, right? So we'll explore going to the outside, going to the inside, or going to the non-attacking arm versus the arm that's grabbing, and we can kind of explore going in different directions. And I will make that decision based off of the strategy of what's happening in the particular scenario that's going on at the time. As he grabs, boom, I'm gonna come in here and grab and control this way. Okay. So one idea is when the grab comes in, I want to take advantage of this connection that we have, and I also want to get away from there, so I immediately just come in over here, break this connection and control, and then I have this connection here. What I don't like about that is Matt is directly behind me. Obviously in a fight can move, so I can, if I felt his presence or if I was somehow aware, I could turn around and face him, right? But if he was already there, I would probably not want to go to that side. So how do I then go to the opposite side? I come in here. This is not a smart idea, right? So this technique works if you're on the other side, right? So if you're here then, and this is why it's really good to pressure test things with multiple attackers, because then it gives you ideas, well, this technique really works, but it doesn't work in this scenario, and it really works well in this scenario. Bam! Then I've got this, and I've got an automatic shield. So in this scenario, man, this is perfect, right? I couldn't ask for anything better, right? And I can control the knife here, potentially have it here, take it away from them, right? And then I've got my own knife, right? I mean, it's a little silly because I got my belt on with my gun, and I could easily just do this, right? And avoid the situation altogether. So keep that in mind, that if this is just trying to dissect if I had to attack. So with that in mind, I'm just gonna remove this because it's really not part of the equation that we're looking at. In here, and I've got this, and I've got this right here. So this scenario works really well. And if Matt were on the other side, right? So going to this side is gonna be, in one case he's over there, it works really well. And in this scenario, so what am I gonna do if he's over here? In my opinion, one of the best things to do is I get away from this, and I'm able to kind of control it and get to the backside, and I've got control, and I'm in a good position. So let's look at that scenario, right? Boom, so come in over here. Then I've got this scenario, right, where I can control him over here. And I keep Matt over here. Might have my hands up. I'm coming in here. I'm covering. I've got this. So can you use that Can you use the knife?
No,
Why not?
I'm all messed up here. I have no balance.
Yeah.
I can hardly stand up.
Right, and so I kind of got Justin here as a shield between me and Matt, right? If he decided to attack, boom, I could move as well. I've got a free arm.
It's hitting too. I was thinking,
Right?
yeah.
Bam, right? So breaking that down nice and slow, this technique looks like this, taking this off and then coming over here and controlling. I'm actually controlling the elbow more than anything else here with this, right?
That's another thing from my own perspective. You want to be able to try and escape before he gets that.
Yeah. So being able to step on his foot kind of pins him in place and allows me to control him a lot better as well. So having the hands up here and immediately flowing in, because what's going to happen is once this attack comes in, he's going to pull it back and it's going to keep on coming, right? So I've got to stay connected to it and not allow any slack to be generated, right? So as this comes in here, I've got to continue to move in and get this to this point here. And I like the fact that Matt's on that side of him, so I've got this shield in place, right? And if he decides, I can still, did you see that? That was cool, right? I didn't even think I could do that, but I was able to, even though I'm controlling him here, right? As he came in, I just kind of moved, boom, hit, and then I still had enough control to maintain this control. And stepping on his foot, he's pushing his head away, controlling the shoulder and the elbow. So that's going to the outside, to the inside. Now let's look at going straight down the middle. And I just move here. And I've got to move in this way, right down the middle. And as I come down that center corridor, I take him offline, right? See, so I still always going back to this shoulder control, right? From here I can open up, take this, and then I've got this lock where I can completely control him and disarm as needed. So I'm going straight back, and as this flows, I flow with him, and I come and I take all of his power offline. So I think the common mistake is to try and go around this. Instead, I want to let him go around it, and I come in here, right? And I'm controlling, once again, same here, the shoulder. From here I open up and I'm able to capture this lock right here and control him right and take him right down here. This is where I could put him into an arm bar. And so what I like about this is that since I'm right down the middle, that might work if we had attackers on each side, right? Now you've got one on the right, one on the left. I'm able to kind of maintain a neutral position right down the middle, right? So that I can deal with people on either side. So we'll test it first with you on this side, and then we'll test it with you on that side. Here, boom, right here. So I've got you from here, and I can control you quite easily. Boom, yeah. If you want to hit, follow through, yeah. Boom, connect them together. Once I got these guys connected together, here's a cool little trick. You sync, and then you take them on this diagonal line right here to take them down. And keep them connected together. So y'all, you just be kind of on his left side, right side, boom, boom. Being able to move in this position. What was your perspective from that?
My perspective, as any partnership should have, you should be able to try and pressure test. In this particular instance, I was really trying to focus on making sure I had this pull back as he's pulling me up into some sort of a capture. So that way I'm not doing him a disservice, if that makes sense. So you really have to make sure that you're being honest as well, and at least one point, isolate it, and then as you get better, try and escape and attack more efficiently.
Well, from a second attacker, it feels like we're going too slow, because if I was going to really attack, I'd have to go full speed to try and hit you. So it's in the training sense, we're probably not going fast enough. But
yeah, so that's all about the ability to escalate your movements, right? So obviously in this phase, we're testing things out, checking it out, and as you become more proficient at it, you can start to increase the speed, you can increase the intensity and all that. Do you want to try doing that with one of the techniques? And as a second attacker, you come in at any point you want?
Well, I know I'll get hurt, so.
So from my perspective, I'll be really good about not trying to do anything. I'll just try and evade as opposed to counterattack. Does that make sense? Because if I try and counterattack, like Matt said, people can get hurt, right? So I'm purposely not going to try and do any technique. I'm just gonna pressure test my ability to move at the right time. Okay, are you satisfied? All right, that's good. And nobody got hurt, so that was good. All right, so and I think one of the most important things that Hatsumi always tells us is in training, you just gotta have a light heart and be playful, right? Just play. And in fact, he would show us a technique that nobody would understand because it was so above everybody's level. And he goes, okay, go play, right? And that takes the pressure off. It's like, I can just play and I can figure things out as I go. And he would always remind us, like, look at cubs. How do they learn how to fight? How do they learn how to stalk their prey? By playing. You see them, that's how they learn. So we're the same way. We're animals. We need to just be lighthearted and have fun and play. The nature of Budo or martial arts can be very serious when you think about what you're actually doing here, potentially, trying to kill each other. And so if you think about that, it gets too heavy, right? So you got to counterbalance some of the heaviness and weightiness of training with having a light heart and just being fun and playful. So nice job. Thanks for playing with me today. And thanks for watching. Please, if you like this video, share it and subscribe, comment, tell us what you think. I really respect everybody's opinions and comments. We're just learning, so we're not perfect. And we know that. We know that there's a lot of holes that we're trying to fill. What we're trying to do and accomplish is just to share what we have, and hopefully we can get a lot of feedback from you guys to help us get better as well.
On a side note, if you guys would like to see anything, feel free to chime in. It's a nice way for us to be able to challenge us as well. Cool. I think that'll